So you've probably been hearing this term, Agentic AI, popping up more and more. We're going to take a closer look at what that really means, and I think more importantly, where it actually fits into the work we do every day.
Okay, so before we dive in, I think it's helpful to clear up a common misunderstanding right at the start. It's easy to think of this as total, all-out automation, but the reality, well, it's a little different.
Yeah, the picture a lot of us have in our heads is this, a system that just takes over an entire process, from the very beginning to the very end, handling every single step without any help.
But that idea of complete replacement, it's just not the full picture. When you look at how it works in the real world, Agentic AI actually plays a much more specific, more targeted role.
So what we're going to do here is just build a simple, calm way of thinking about where this technology fits. The key thing to remember is that it's not about replacing the whole system, it's about integrating into it.
And to really get a feel for how it integrates, I find it helps to think of it as a plugin. Let's walk through what that means.
At its core, Agentic AI is a system that can take actions to reach a goal. It looks at a task, figures out the next logical step, and then it takes that step. It keeps the process moving.
Now, if you think about most of the workflows we deal with, they usually have three basic parts, right? There's a start, a middle, and an end. And this is the key. Agentic AI fits right in the middle. It's not designed to handle the start or the end. Instead, it just plugs into that middle part to take care of these structured, repeatable steps.
Okay, so this whole plugin idea probably makes a lot more sense if we look at a real-world example. Let's do that now.
All right, so let's imagine a customer sends in a request for a refund. That request, that's the start of our workflow.
As soon as that request comes in, the Agentic AI kicks in. This is where it does its thing. It handles those first predictable steps, reading the request, pulling up the order details, and checking the refund policy. But what happens if something's not quite right? Maybe the case is a little unusual. Well, the system is built to just pause. It creates a checkpoint and flags it for a person to come in, take a look, and make a decision. And once a person gives it the green light or clarifies things, the AI gets back to work. It finishes up the last few structured tasks, processing the actual refund, sending out the confirmation email, that kind of thing.
And just like that, the request is closed. So you can see the workflow had a definite start and a definite end. The AI's job was just to handle that structured part in the middle.
Okay, so if we zoom out from that example, we can start to see some of the bigger ideas here. Let's talk for a moment about the benefits and also the very clear limits of this approach.
On the one hand, this is great for cutting down on manual work and making sure things are consistent. The same exact steps get followed every single time. But on the other hand, it does have its limits. It really isn't built for situations with vague goals or for tasks that are messy and unstructured.
And really, those limitations are exactly why it works as a plugin. Its purpose is to fit inside a workflow, not to stretch across the entire thing from beginning to end.
So if there's just one simple idea to take away from all of this, what should it be?
It really comes down to this. Agentic AI works best inside workflows, handling the structured steps that fall between the start and the finish.
And just understanding that placement is really the key here. Now, in the future, that plugin part might get more and more powerful for sure, but the basic idea of integrating into a workflow instead of replacing it, that's likely here to stay.
So this has been a calm foreview of how Agentic AI can plug into our work. When we see it as a specialized tool, one that's designed for the middle of a process, we can get a much clearer picture of what it's truly for.